Okay, so welcome back to this channel. So in our previous video we have completed all the admin panel, and now in this video let's handle the review part. We will first of all check display all the user reviews, and then we also have to create a form. With that we can simply post our review. Okay, so let's handle that. First of all I go back to my VS Code. Okay, and before that if I go to the inspect and then I go here in the components, and if I scroll it down we can see that here we have here reviews array, which is empty. Okay, so we can simply loop through on this reviews array. With that we can simply display all the reviews, but right now we don't have any reviews. So let's first of all handle that, how we can post a new review on this product. Okay, so I go back in the backend in the controllers. Let's go to the product controller and create a function here. Okay, so what I will do here is I will simply copy this from here just to save some time, and then I put that here. Okay, so with this we can simply create, and also we can update the product review. Okay, so review, first of all we have to get from the body the rating that user has given, then the comment, and then the product ID that on which user has given the review, and we will get that from request.body. We will pass that from the front end, and now we have to prepare the review that we want to post. So that is going to be user request dot user dot id, and then we will simply display here, we have simply add here the rating that is going to be we will wrap that in the number that is going to be rating, and then we have to pass in the comment. So this is the review object that we have to save in the database. We have here the user, rating, and then the comment. I will simply pass in here find by id, and that I will simply pass in here that product ID that we will pass in the request.body. So now we have here product. We will simply check that. If product is not there, we will simply throw this error, and we also have to make sure that if user has already given the review, then we have to update that review. Otherwise we have to create a new review, and we can simply check that const is reviewed, and we will simply use here product dot reviews. Remember that we have reviews array in the product dot find. Okay, so with this find we can simply find the review in our reviews array. Okay, we will simply check that for each review dot user dot toString. Okay, we know that we have already saved a user in the review, so we will get that, convert that to string, and if that is equal to the request dot user dot underscore id dot to string, this means that the review exists. Okay, and if the review exists we simply have to update that. So I will simply check that if is reviewed, then we will simply have to update that. Okay, else we simply have to push the review in product dot reviews dot push, and we'll push our review. Okay, if product is not reviewed we will simply push the review in our reviews array in the product. Otherwise we have to update that. Okay, and for that I will simply type here product dot reviews dot for each review. Okay, I will simply check that if review dot user dot toStrings, I will simply copy that from here. Okay, and I paste that here. If that is the condition, then we will simply set the review dot comment to the comment, and then review dot rating is going to be rating. Okay, so we will simply if it is reviewed, then we will simply loop through on all the reviews of that product, and then we will simply find the review for each review. If that review user is equal to the current user, this means that this is the same review. So we will simply set this comment, this one, and also we will update rating. Now we simply have handled that. If the review is already there, then we'll simply update that. Otherwise we will simply add the new review. Now we have to calculate the new ratings. We have the ratings field, which is this one in the models. We have to also update that. So for that what I will do is I will simply type here product dot ratings. Okay, that is going to be product dot reviews dot reduce. We will use here the reduce JavaScript function, that will basically reduce down the value to a single value. Okay, so in the reduce we have our accumulator. Okay, and then we have our item, the current item. So we will simply item dot rating. Okay, now we have to add the all previous rating one by one, and in this way we will get the sum of all ratings, and now we have to divide that sum of ratings by the review length. So that is going to be product dot reviews dot length. Okay, so now we have set the reviews and the rating. Now let's save that product. So await product dot save, so it will save the product in the database, and we will return here success to true. Save it. Okay, so this is our create product review function. Now let's close this one, go to the pages. In the API, in the products, I create a new file here that is called review.js. Okay, so I will simply copy that from here and put that here, and this is going to be a protected route. So use is authenticated user, and that is going to be put, and we have to use here the create product review like this. Okay, so this is going to be our review.js. So now let's close this from here. Now backend is ready. Now let's handle the front end. So for that I go to the components, create a new folder here that is called review. Okay, now go back to our so we have here the left hand side properties and must be variable or a class property. So that is, if I go back to the backend, in the controllers, in the product controllers, product dot ratings, and here we simply have to remove this question mark, save it, and now if I go back, now the error is gone. If I reload this page, so the error is gone. Okay, so now let's close this from here. Now let's go back to the here in the components we have this reviews folder. In that we have here new reviews.jsx. So I copy that from here. In that we have only two fields. One is to select the stars and one is to write the comment and then a post review button. So I copy that from here. Okay, then I go back, I go in the components, in the review, create a new file here that is called new review.jsx and paste that here. Okay, save it. In that, first of all, we will have access to the product. Okay, and we will pass that. Okay, now let's create here first of all two state variables. One is the rating. Okay, and then one set rating here. Okay, and then after that I will simply get the user from the use context and then pass in here auth context. I will get the user from the state. Alright, and now what I will do here is I will first of all create my submit handler. So const submit handler. Okay, in that I will simply first of all prepare my review data. So review data is, in that I will simply have to set the first of all rating, then the comment of the user, and then the product ID. So the product ID is going to be product dot underscore ID. We have to pass this review data on the backend, so we will handle that later. Okay, so that is going to be a colon like this. Save it, and now let's scroll down. So here we have the star rating. So by default the rating is going to be rating value that user will select, and then the number of star is going to be 5, and then this star rating has a function that is called change rating. Okay, so it is called when the user change the ratings. So if the user change rating, you simply have to set that, and that is going to be set ratings. In that we will simply pass that event. Okay, so with this function we can simply access the number of stars that user has selected. And for the comment, which is quite simple, I will simply add here value, that is going to be comment, and then I will add here on change e.target.value. So now we have set the rating here and also the comment. And for the button I will add here on click. I will simply have to call in here the submit handler. Okay, in that I will have to pass here nothing. So I have created the submit handler already there. Simply save it. So now we have to create our, I go in the context, in the product context. Now let's create a function here. So I will simply copy this from here and I paste that here, and that is going to be post review. So post review, in that we have to pass in here the review data. Okay, so the path is going to be slash API slash product products and then slash the review, and that is a put request. And if data dot success, we will simply router dot replace the user to slash product and then slash the um, review data dot product ID. Okay, we will simply reload the page, and if there's an error we will simply set that, simply save it, that is post review. I copy that from here and I put that here, save it. Now if I go back, now let's get the post review from the product context like this. So now I will simply call in my post review and pass in here the review data. Alright, so now if I simply save it from here, and now we have to use this new review component in our product details page. Okay, if I scroll down here, we have to add the new review component. So what I will do here is I will simply type here the new review. Okay, now in that I will simply have to pass the product. Okay, that is going to be the product, simply save it. Okay, so now if I go back and if I reload this page, so you can see that here we get this form. You can simply design that. Here it is quite simple. So here we have your review. In the rating we have to select the stars and then write the comment. Okay, if I select here like 3 stars, so now it is 3. Okay, and for the review if I type here nice and if I click on post review, okay, and go to the inspect just to test on the console, we have this 404 error. Okay, so what I will do is I go in the context, in the product context, I will simply log here the error. So error dot response, save it. If I simply clear this, click on post review, and in the data we have here product not found. Okay, so we are getting this error. Okay, and actually what we can do is we can simply go to the new review, and we also have to get from here the error and then the clear errors. Okay, and I will use here the use effect and pass in here the error in the dependency array. Okay, so if there is any error, we will simply toast dot error the error and then clear the errors, save it. So now we have here this product not found. Okay, and the reason is that in the review data we have to pass in here product node underscore id. I log here review data. Okay, post review, and in that we have this product id which is exactly same, so product id. Okay, so if I go to the backend, in the backend in the controllers we have this product controllers and product id. So log this product id, save it. Okay, if I click here post review, and let me check that. So we are getting here undefined, so we don't get here the product id in the request.body. If I type here like rating, okay, post review, and it is again undefined. Okay, so we have some issue here. I think so we have to go in the context, in the product context. We haven't passed any data in the body. Okay, we have to pass in here the review data, save it. And now If I select and type here nice, click on post review. Okay, so now if I reload this page, so you can see that here we get here this review which is 3 star, and this is the 3 rating. Okay, now the user has given review to this product. We also have to display that review right in here. Okay, so what I can do here is I can simply go back. Okay, close this from here, and also this product details. I will go in the helpers. Okay, create a new function here, export const get user review. Okay, in that we will pass all the reviews of that product and then the user ID. Okay, so we will simply search here the user review. So let user review is going to be null. So reviews dot for each, you can also use here find. So review, simply check that if review dot user dot underscore id is equal to user id, this means that this is the same review. Then we will simply set here user review, that is going to be review. Okay, and at the end we will simply return from here the user review. Save it. Now we have this get user review to get the review of the user. So what I do is I will simply go in the components in the review, new review. So in the use effect I will simply type here const user review, that is going to be get user review. In that we have to simply pass in here the products dot review reviews and then the user dot underscore id. Okay, and then I will simply check that if user review exists, then I will simply have to set here rating to user review dot rating. Okay, in the same way I will set here the set comment, that is going to be user review dot comment. Okay, and I type here the user, I think so. And if I go back, you can see that here we get here the user rating and then the comment. Now let's update that. If I type here, click here 4 and click on post review, so cannot read properties undefined rating to string. Okay, so now you have posted 2 more reviews and we have some issue here. Okay, you can see that our rating is messed up. If I open my MongoDB here, you can see that this is the product. If I expand here the reviews, you can see that it is adding the review one by one rather than updating that. And the reason is that we don't have the user field in the review. Okay, so to handle that, what I do is I simply go back to my VS Code and I go in the backend in the controllers. I go here in the in the model, in the product, we have here these reviews. We also have to add here the user field, so I will simply copy this from here and I put that here. So here we have required is going to be true. Okay, so this is the object ID, reference is going to be user, required is true. Save it, and now we have this user field inside our model. So now it will work if I restart my server. Okay, so now I will simply close this from here. Now if I go back to my Chrome, let's go to the second product just to test. I go on this product and now let's give here 4 stars. Click here, type here nice, and now if I post review here, so you can see that here we get here 4 star. Okay, and if I type here like 3 stars post review, so you can see that now it is updating the review rather than adding the review one by one. Okay, so now the issue is solved. Okay, so now we have successfully posted the review. So now we also have to make sure that if the user can actually post a review or not. For example, if user haven't purchased this item, then we cannot allow user to post a review. Okay, so to handle that, what I do is I simply go back to my backend in the controllers. I go in the order controllers. I will create here a separate function. Okay, I will simply copy that and I put that here and I call it can review. Okay, in that I have to get first of all the product ID. Const product ID is going to be request dot query dot product id. So now we have to first of all get the order. So I type here const orders. So we will use here order dot find. Okay, now in the find we have to pass in here two conditions. One, make sure that the user is going to be request dot user dot underscore id. Okay, so in this way we will get all the orders of the current user, and we also have to add one more condition here, that make sure that the order items dot product is equal to the product id that user is currently on. Okay, and if that is the condition, then I will simply type here let can review is going to be orders dot length. If it is greater than or equal to 1, then this is going to be true, else it is going to be false. And then in the response we have to pass the can review. Okay, so if I go back to my MongoDB, you can see that here if I go to the orders, so in the orders we have the order items, and in order items we have this product. Okay, so you are simply checking that here, make sure that the order id is equal, order user is equal to the current user, and also if the order item contains the product id, this means that user has purchased that item. So in that case that is going to be true. Okay, so if I close this from here, now let's go to the pages. In the orders I create a new file here that is called can underscore review.js. okay, so I will simply copy that from here and I put that here. So that is going to be get route and then can review. Okay, and this is a protected route. I simply save it from here. Let's close this one, go to the context, then the order context. Okay, I copy this from here and I paste that here. So that is going to be can user review, that is going to be a get request, so that is slash api slash orders, and then the route we will pass here can underscore review, and we have to pass the product id in the query. So product id is going to be the id that we will pass here. Okay, so we have sent the request. Now we will simply check that if data dot can review is there, then we will simply set here set can review to data dot can review. Save it. Now we have to define this. So I go to the top and I type here const. Okay, so I will simply set here can review and then the function that is can user review. Save this from here, close this one. Now let's go to the components in the product details. Okay, so I will simply type here, I will simply have to get here the can user review. Okay, and then can review from the order context. Okay, so I have to call that on the use effect. So I will simply type here use effect. So in that I will simply call here the can user review, and we have to pass in here the product dot underscore id. Okay, so now it will call that and set the can review. So I copy that from here, scroll down, and here we have our button, this one. So I will add here can review, then we can only post the review. Save it. Okay, and that is and save it. Now if I go back to here and if I reload this page, you can see that I haven't purchased this item, so I am not getting here the review. Okay, so now let's display the other user reviews here. Okay, to handle that what I do is simply close this from here. Now we have to display here the reviews. So I go back in the components, in the review, create a new file here that is called reviews.jsx. So I go back to my Chrome and I go here in this reviews.jsx file and I simply copy that all the code from here. Let's go back and paste that here. So in that we will have access to the reviews. Okay, and after this div I will add a loop. So that is going to be reviews dot map, and for each review I have to display that. Okay, so I will move this article inside the loop, save it. So now first of all I have to display here the in the P I will display here review dot user dot name. Okay, and on the posted date I will simply type here created at dot substring. Okay, and that is going to be 0 to 10. Okay, and for the comment I will type here review dot comment, and here I will type here review dot rating. Okay, and that is also going to be review dot rating. Save it. Now if I go back, if I reload this page, also I have to actually go in the components in the product details. Here I have to call that, so reviews, pass in here reviews, that is going to be product dot reviews. Okay, and that is this. Save it. And now if I go back, so you can see that here we get here our review, that is nice, and then the rating in the stars here, posted date. And now let's display the user avatar, and for that I will simply go here and in the source review dot user dot avatar. Okay, if that exists then I will simply display here review dot user dot avatar dot URL. Okay, and if the user image is not there, then we will simply display the default image, that is going to be images slash default dot png. Save it. Now if I go back, you can see that here we get here the default image, posted on date, the rating, and then the comment. And also if I close this from here, now let's go to the components in the product. In the product details I have here one issue. Let me simply first of all comment this one. Let me show you. Save it. If I update the review here like 4 star, if I click on post review, you can see that the page is not refreshed. Okay, and to handle that I will simply go in the backend, in the controllers, in the product controllers. I have to type here success. The spelling is wrong here. Save it. And now if I go back, reload this page. Okay, so now if I click here 3 star and click on post review, so this page not found, and the reason is that I go to the context auth product context, that is the product. Save it. And now if I go back and reload this page, so now if I click on 4 star post review, okay, so you can see that now it is refreshed and we get here 4. If I click here 3 post review, and now we have here 3, so now it is getting refreshed. So now we have successfully posting our review, updating that review. Also we are displaying the other users reviews here, and also we can simply have a condition here that if user can or cannot, if I go in the components product details, if user can or cannot give a review. Okay, so I hope that you understand. If you have any question, you can post that in the comment section. I will try my best to respond there. And also you can get the source code of this video from the description of this video. So we have successfully handled all about reviews. I hope that you understand. That's it for this video. I will see you in the next lecture.